show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon Spa Nail and Barbershop, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light Bundles, faster internet, movies, and sports. This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition in studio with me. As someone who would have left this territory, went all the way those millions of miles away, and she's back here for a short bit visiting and is doing something really great for us here in the Virgin Islands. Siobhan Flax, Deputy Director of the BVI Hong Kong office. It's a pleasure having you home.
Thank you so much, Kathy. It's a pleasure to be here, finally, in studio with you after speaking for so many years.
Yes.
I'm really excited to be home. I traveled a long way, so I'm excited to be here with you.
We're so happy that you're here to enjoy what you deserve to enjoy, some sun, sand, sea, and family and friends and all of that. But like you said, we've been speaking for years.
Yes.
And one of the things that we've been talking about so much is that push to have Virgin Islanders register and benefit from a key program that is being offered through your office. But before that, let those who don't know you a little bit more.
Right. Well, Kathy, of course, I'm from the beautiful island, the gem of the Virgin Islands, Virgin Gorda. And I hope I don't lose any friends because of that. But we are the gem of the Virgin Islands. But I'm from Virgin Gorda originally. I have been away for some time, serving the government overseas. So initially I was off in the London office for about 12 years or so. And recently shifted over for the east, a little further away to Hong Kong in our sister office, of course, the BVI Hong Kong office. So I've been away for a while, but of course BVI is near and dear to my heart, and our scholarship program is of course very important to me, and I need some company in Asia and to get some young people over. So that's me in a nutshell.
Nice. Help us to understand the atmosphere of and the significance of offices where they are. Especially in Hong Kong, where you're at now.
Right. Very significant. Of course, in Hong Kong, the focus is financial services, as you know, BVI, of course, being a offshore financial center, and Hong Kong being one of those big international finance hubs. And so it's very, very critical to have representation in Hong Kong, which we cover the whole of Asia. And of course, we've been there for 10 years. We just made a birthday. We're getting there. Not quite a teenager yet, but we've been there for 10 years, which is significant. And we're the first British overseas territory to have presence in Asia. You know, BVI, we like to push the envelope and push forward. So extremely important. And beyond financial services now, we're seeing that, we have a lot of persons coming through, business persons and others from the BVI that we support. And now, of course, our students on the program, which calls on some other skills and some more, so assistance and support and getting our students settled. So a bit of the cultural, educational element. So that's what we do.
Nice. I want to ask you something, and this is more personal to you, and you'll see it's leading to the very topic that we want to speak about. You would have left this territory working so many millions of miles away from a very young age. Right. What has that experience been like for you? What it continues to be like for you now that you're a whole lot more mature?
I am definitely not the same. I think the longer I've been in the international sphere, the more of a bigger picture, the more well-rounded I've become. I've grown tremendously over those years. And just personally, it's been a lot of growth for me. I miss home a lot, but it's presented some opportunities to grow, but to also still represent the BVI, which is just the absolute most beautiful thing. I mean, I'm away, but I'm in an office with BVI landers. I still have my accent. Everybody asks me, oh, where the British accent? Absolutely not. I'm a BVI lander to my core, you know, so but it's really allowed me to grow. I've studied, I've completed my master's in diplomacy, I've traveled quite a bit and gained so much experience. So I'm definitely not the same, but BVI is at the heart and the core of everything I do, and so that remains with me. But I really encourage persons to travel overseas and come back. It's good to see how the world views BVI. And I'll tell you, Kathy, no matter where, more so in my Asia post, no matter where I go in Asia, I could be in the depths of Asia, somebody knows BVI. Wow. They know BVI, and it is a really heartwarming feeling, because sometimes they're actually people in the BVI because they know us for business. And I'm glad to be like the first BVI lander that someone encounters. So yeah, very, very, very rewarding experience being overseas.
Okay,
yes.
Awesome. So the scholarship program, why I ask you that personal experience, many times when we talk to persons about taking up these opportunities that is so far from home, the very first concern they have is the distance away from home and a totally different place, and how they're going to make out if they need to call on a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother. It's so many miles away, and the whole gamut of things. And with someone there with the kind of experience that you have, it's easier to relate. So let's talk about this program now.
Sure, absolutely. I'm really glad that you touched on that point, and maybe I'll come back to it. But the program has been in existence, of course, since 2021. It was established in the BVI Hong Kong office. Dr. Ricardo Wheatley is very passionate. He was a brainchild behind this program, and he feels very strongly about it. Of course, he's been in the education field for quite some time, and in Asia for quite some time. So together, he feels very passionate about the program. But we started in 2021, and we've been promoting, of course, that was around COVID time, so we didn't have students sign on. But in 2023, we had the first pioneers come over and join us on the program. And so it is a program which is a joint partnership between the government, which is BVI Hong Kong office, and the wider government, our partner universities, and the private sector. So on this program, you can do a bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and a fun fact, you can do short language courses. Oh, wow. So if you don't quite want to commit to 4 years, you want to see how Asia is like, we have opened up an opportunity now through some of the government of Taiwan scholarship in particular, where you can go over for 6 months, fully covered, and have an intensive Mandarin course. Oh. So it covers everything, bachelor's straight through. We're in about 5 cities. We have about 10 to 12 partner universities, and every year we have about 30 to 35 scholarship opportunities every single year. So it's a well-rounded, fully inclusive program open to BVI landers and permanent residents. So that's a key point. So in a nutshell, that's the program. And to your point earlier, having the Hong Kong office there allows for that support. Very much like in the London office, where we support students in Europe, our office is there to help us. We're with them every step. Before they come, we meet them on arrival. They have my number 24/7. They can call me, so we are there. And I mean, a lot of people like to go to the States, but there's no BVI office in the States.
US,
so in the USA, so that's unique to Hong Kong, Asia, and London. So that's a key point, their support.
Okay. Yeah. Explain a little more what is categorized as permanent resident.
So it's defined by whatever is defined in the Constitution as a permanent resident. That's exactly what we follow. And I'm afraid I can't quote it from head here, but it as quoted in the Constitution, permanent resident is defined. We include those persons along with Virgin Islanders, belongers.
Okay.
So it's very
What
inclusive.
has been the response? I know from the get-go it was not as expected. You had a really tough time. That's why we became friends, trying to help push and get people to go ahead. What has been the response since? I know we've passed the COVID period and we're now in 2024.
Right. Well, I'm really happy to see the interest. I think, of course, the first cohort went over. We had a cohort of 4. And now we have another cohort of 3, as well as a national scholar who is at one of our partner universities. So we have a nice total full cohort there. And I think through them, word is starting to really get around. And I was pleasantly surprised when I got here and people just met me everywhere and said, I heard your hair, I heard about this scholarship. I think we needed the human touch.
Yes.
We tried to do things online, not quite the same, and so that's why it's important for me to be here in person, and I think that's making a huge difference.
Nice.
I've covered, I went from Elmo Stout to Cedar, Brigado Flax, HLSCC, the VI Iconic Training Academy, youths,
Yes.
and there's a lot of interest.
Nice.
So I'm going back really happy that I hope by next year we have 10 students coming along.
Yes, because you have
Yes.
so many programs.
So many.
Yes.
So many.
Wow.
So it's picking up.
Uh-huh.
The interest is picking up, which is really, really a turning point for us.
Okay.
Yes.
What do I need to have individually before I can apply?
So it's pretty much the requirements to be accepted into the university. So at bachelor's level, if you're studying at bachelor's level, of course, they're looking for things like, your high school diploma. If you have CXCs, some persons have international baccalaureate. The general things you think of when you're applying to university. And of course, you need to show your citizenship and all that other fun stuff. But you need to have, really key is to have those prerequisites. And I try to tell our interested persons to try to really paint a good picture of yourself. Aim for the highest GPA. Your grades are really important. So of course we want to see, of course, you're a Virgin Islander or permanent resident. And of course, we want you to upload a few things into the scholarship portal for us, just the basic admin type stuff. The program allows for most of the expenses to be covered.
Okay, so yeah, that was
Key
what I was
points.
coming to next.
Yeah. So while it's still good to have some savings, there's quite a bit of grants and funds available. So the tuition is for most of the, like 99% of the programs, 100% waived.
Okay.
Full tuition. Once you can maintain the GPA annually, full tuition covered.
Okay.
Some of the universities add a little treat to that and cover housing completely.
Okay.
Some of them cover a living expense stipend. It's generally around, maybe $200 US equivalent per month, which in Asia goes a long way.
Okay.
And we, of course, have grants, which persons need to apply. It's not automatic.
Okay.
But if your university doesn't cover anything beyond tuition, you can apply for a grant.
To the
Hong Kong
office and
to
get-
assist with, with accommodation, transportation, and living expenses. So it's not automatic, but there are options to supplement these opportunities, which makes it very cost effective, especially when you think about tuition in the States and the UK. It's almost like double, in some cases 4 times the amount. So it's really, really cost effective, really cost effective.
Okay.
Yes.
Apart from that cost effectiveness, so I'm not just going to, because Siobhan tells me this, I'm going to just hop on the board and get on there. What are the advantages that stands out most when we look at, okay, I could go to the university in the United States of America. I could go to some place in the Caribbean, one of those prestigious institutions. What stands out about that Hong Kong experience?
So beyond the cost factor, I like to say the world is looking towards the east.
Okay.
Asia is one of the fastest developing areas on the whole, continentally, globally. You would see about 60% of the world's economy, that population is in Asia. You're talking about innovation in Asia. You're talking about places like India, China, rapidly developing economies. The world is really looking to the east. And to place yourself there immerse yourself in Asia, learn the culture, learn the language. The advantages speak for themselves. You're into business. You might be studying, but you have a mind for business. What better place than to be placed in Asia, where, it's pretty much the manufacturing hub of the world. So I look at all of that. I look at the culture. I look at how much you stand out. If you have a CV from the US, working in the US, studying in the US, UK, no takeaway, but we heard it before.
Yeah.
You come now with a experience from Asia as a BVI lander or BVI permanent resident. Your CV stands out. You have something unique to bring. So I think between the academics, these are elite universities, the experience, and just being in a place where everything is pulsing. Asia is in the future. Yeah. I like to say that already. I look around Asia, and we are already in the future over there. To be in that sets you apart.
Okay.
So that's essentially how I see it.
Okay. There are some persons might want to say, okay, never take a break at learning, never take a break at your chances of elevating yourself when it comes academically. So my child or children would have just gotten out of high school.
Right.
Is it appropriate or advisable for those young persons to apply?
So with young persons out of high school, I like to encourage them to take up the associate's degree, for example, at HLSCC. 16 is quite young, 16, 17, but it's doable. Simply because the office is there, we support students. We're literally with our students, no matter what age they come to us. It's still good to have some experience here. An associate's degree, you learn a bit about yourself, you mature a bit, and the associate helps your application. But there's some very ambitious young people.
Oh, yes.
And if that's the step they want to take, it's doable. Okay. Asia is actually one of the safest regions in the world.
Okay.
A lot of people may not. I think maybe some of the things you see on the news may paint a different picture, but in terms of being on the ground, I mean, I've lived in the UK, I've lived in the US. I feel very safe in Asia. I like to tell people I could go to Starbucks and put my phone down, walk away. Not advising anyone to do this, but I can walk away and come back 20, 30 minutes later. It's there.
And it's there.
There's a culture of safety.
Wow.
As a female, I can walk around Hong Kong 24/7. 2 in the morning, nobody's going to bother me. It's very safe. Okay. So for younger students, that should put parents' minds at ease. It's quite safe. So
I think because probably we've been talking a long time, some of the things is we're just flowing there, because that was the other thing I was going to, parents would be happy to know that they have someone there or a few persons there that are familiar with the Virgin Islands culture to help handhold them to be able to integrate into this new environment. But you answered that so nicely. Yeah. But then again, to enforce it, you provide that atmosphere to have them well oriented into the new environment.
Yeah, it's not just me, it's the entire team. So of course it's Dr. Ricardo Wheatley, and we have 2 other BVI landers with us, Mr. Shaquille Malone, Miss Janique Geshard, who are on with the team. This is a full BVI squad.
Okay.
And all of us feel passionately about the program and our students. So we all support them. And it's really, really like a BVI family in Asia, as we like to call it. We support that. We have things like last year we had the BVI Christmas lunch in Asia. So we do things to really help persons to come along. So full support from the BVI Hong Kong
What
office.
other category of persons coming out of like the Technical Institute, the Virgin Islands School of Technical Studies?
Right.
Programs are open for them as well?
Of course. And immediately, which, one of the things that one of the courses that would come to mind would be the hospitality side of things, technical, you're thinking hospitality, tourism, culinary to some extent. We have programs. We have the Macau Tourism University. All they do, tourism. All of their courses are tourism.
Wow.
We have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree available to Virgin Islanders, and of course, you know how important tourism is to us.
Yes.
So that comes to mind immediately. But there are some options in the technical area.
Nice to know, nice to know. So, before we close off,
Sure.
how do we apply?
Of course, I think the best spot I can send persons to, I know everyone's active on Facebook. So the BVI Hong Kong office Facebook page, we're extremely active. I think that's the first port of call. But we have an interest form that you can access on our website as well, the BVI Hong Kong office. If you search us up, you can find us, and you can just fill out the interest form. It's no commitment. We'll be in touch with persons, talk you through the process, but I think that's the important first step. But also on our website, we have all the partner universities, all the courses, all of the information. So we're very, very accessible, but definitely Facebook is a good first stop. And of course, you can call the office, you can WhatsApp us, it's all on our website.
Nice to know. All right, you're back home and you're already seeing, although it's a very short time, you're seeing the benefits of being on the ground. So we know, Siobhan, this team going to be running home every now and then.
I don't know if I should say running, because it took me 30-something hours to get there, so it's a slow.
Oh my God,
it's a kind of a slow.
And crawl and come over.
I will.
Yeah.
Home is home.
Home
Love to
is
be home.
home.
Yes.
And we're happy to have you.
Absolutely.
Enjoy all you can and, take back the love
Absolutely.
to the rest of the team. I know some of them have been out there for quite some time, and just like you, once in a while they get to come home. But home is home.
Absolutely.
Love it. We send the love to you.
Absolutely.
Out there. Continue to enjoy while you're here. In closing, any direct words to your audience?
Of course, I just want to encourage all of the young persons or the young at heart who are interested in studying abroad to please consider studying in Asia. Consider the BVI Asia Abroad program. Give yourself a chance to experience something different and sign on with us for the next cohort next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Evan. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure to finally sit with you in person, but we're going to be doing a few other things that, give persons even more confidence in these programs that are being offered there. Once again, thank you. And thank you for the pleasure of your time here on The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.